Tides. What are tides? Tides are simply water moving in and water moving out. The basic knowledge you need to understand about tides is there's a high tide and there's a low tide. Simply, when you get to the beach, if you don't understand what tide it is, my advice to you is to go check in at the local lifeguard tower. They'll usually have a board with time of high tide, time of low tide, sunset, sunrise, and how high or low the tide is. When riding different waves, tide can be very important, especially when the gradient of the beach is either very sharp and steep or very long and gradual. Some waves favor a high tide, some waves favor a low tide. My advice to you is to look for a lower tide at a beach break, as the wave breaks for a much longer period of time, versus high tide, as it will just crumble and be a very short ride. When riding reef breaks, low tide is not your friend. Nobody likes to fall onto a rock. Nobody likes that. We're in the water to stay in the water, not to fall into rocks. So simply find a wave that works on a high tide if you're riding a reef. Avoid landing on the rocks at all costs. Learn the different types of tides that work well at your break. So you might be near a wave that favors high tide and hates low tide. Learn those basic tide charts for your area and stick to those. Wind. Wind. What different types of winds are there? Simply put, we've got an offshore and we've got an onshore. Our best friend is offshore. Simply, an offshore is wind blowing off the shore towards the ocean. When the wind blows from the shore to the ocean, it grooms a nice, clean slate that allows for a wave to rear up and be uninterrupted before it breaks. On the flip side, onshore. Nobody likes onshore. It's sloppy, it's messy, it's unpredictable, and it just doesn't allow you to really pick out a nice, clean wave. And the main things to remember are what direction is offshore at your wave and what direction is onshore at your wave. The dangers of an offshore is, as the wind pushes from land to sea, if it's a very strong offshore, perhaps like today, the wind can start to blow you out to sea. So these are things you need to take into consideration. Make sure you have markers on the beach and on the land. You want to make sure you're not getting blown out to sea. This can be very dangerous. If in doubt, don't go out. Find out what directions are offshore at your local break and make sure you try and stick to that offshore, because we all have a good offshore when we're bodyboarding.